Lunch. Yeah, how does that sound? That that reasonable level? Don't want to hurt anybody. All right. We can go ahead and call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. Thank you for joining us, everyone. As you can see, we are streaming live on Facebook at the moment, and this is being recorded, which will be available on our Facebook page and YouTube page in the future as well. Okay, if you don't mind, join me in a moment of silence. All right, thank you. And if you also mind, if you can, stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag So we've got a packet here with the agenda on the front at the back table. If you have not signed in, please do so if you happen to miss that. And in that packet is the last treasurer's report for the last 2 months, since we have the August break, as well as previous meetings minutes. So if there's no objections, I'll just file that for later. And start off with the fire department. And we got just enough people here that will use the mic stand, so people can kind of queue up in these front seats if they've got a question or comment for any presenters.
Hello, I am traveling Lieutenant Keisha Terry here with the 49s of Madisonville. We're on Prentice. I'm just passing through for the day. The regular captain, Brendan Eric, is off today. So for starters, Engine 49 last month for the month of August made 213 runs. 27 of them were fire related, and 2 of them were actual really small fires that didn't cause too much damage, just one room, but still 2 fires that required a 1 alarm fire response. For the month of September, we are, as a fire department, discussing hoarding and the risk of fires that come along with hoarding. So why hoarding increases fire risks? Cooking is unsafe if flammable items are close to the stove or oven. Heating units may be too close to things that can burn, especially if you place portable heating units on unstable surfaces. If the heater tips over into a pile, it can cause a fire, obviously. Electrical wiring may be worn down or old from the weight of the piles, and pests can chew on the damaged wires, and that can also start fires. Open flames from cooking materials or candles in a home with excess clutter are very dangerous, and blocked pathways and exits may hinder escape from fire. This is actually something that is concerning to a few homes to us here in Madisonville. We do have a few hoarders in the neighborhood, and if that home were to catch on fire, the likelihood of us rescuing that person from the home is very low. So it's concerning for a number of reasons. We want to keep you guys safe and give you the best opportunities. So if you do know somebody who is a hoarder, you can help reduce the risk of fire and injury, talking to them, focus on their safety rather than the clutter, because it is more about their safety than anything. Be empathetic and match the person's language. If they call it hoarding, then you can call it hoarding. If they don't, then maybe avoid those that terminology. Reach out to community resources. You can always come to the firehouse, talk to members of the fire department and alert us of the concerns. And we also have community risk reduction coordinator. We can give you that telephone to contact them as well. In the month of October 8th through the 14th is Fire Prevention Week. And this year we are focusing on cooking safely. So if you have the chance, the opportunity to have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen, and just remember, grease fires do not equal water. Put it out. If you have a grease fire, you put water on it, it just makes it worse. Baking soda is a good thing to keep in your kitchen.
All right. If there are no questions, we'll move on to the police department.
Okay, I'm gonna go over the crime stats. Well, if some of you don't know me, I'm the new resource officer for Madisonville. I'm sorry, neighborhood officer, not resource officer, neighborhood officer. And I met some of you last meeting, and then I get a lot of emails from others. So, for the month of August, there were 2 felonious assaults, known suspects, boyfriend, girlfriend trouble, and we had several theft from autos. I just want you guys to be mindful, if you have vehicles and you put valuable things in your vehicles and they're in plain view, somebody's going to break your window and get those items out. So if you could lock your doors or park somewhere where there's light, so you won't be a victim of those type of incidents. And then we had an assault. We had a couple of assaults, but those were actually boyfriend, girlfriend troubles, known suspects. And then we had an aggravated burglary, and that actually was also known suspects. They were arguing over a dice game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But most of the crimes that occurred in the month of August were actually boyfriend, girlfriend troubles and known suspects. And then we still have the Hyundai issue. A lot of residents aren't getting their cars fixed, or the whatever, I guess the malfunction is that the company has. I just encourage you guys to get that fixed, because we're getting a lot of people's cars are getting stolen because they're not going to get that particular, whatever it is in the steering column fixed, so their cars are getting taken. So let's see, what else do we have here? And that just about sums it up, because the majority of it is the Hyundai and Kia issues with the steering column mechanisms. So I just encourage you guys to get those fixed if you have those vehicles. Yes, ma'am.
Here, use the mic.
How many Kias have they stolen out of Madisonville? My daughter has one.
I don't have the stats on that, but it's equal. So I mean, I don't have the actual stats on it, but if you don't get your car fixed, it's easy to be taken. Easy for them to take it.
Yeah, trying to keep it a little bit more orderly by using the microphone stand would be great. If you have like a mobility concern or something, please just raise your hand instead and I'll come to you.
That's why I'm standing up here. It's a segue into that. So the update, those of you, I'm Sergeant Sellers, I'm the supervisor over the neighborhood unit. And a couple of months ago, I came
along with the captain, and we kind of introduced the Madisonville CPOP project. And that project is based on the Sarah model. And that's when community identify, it doesn't have to be the community, it could be a business, it could be, but a stakeholder in Madisonville identifies a problem that affects more than one person, and work in conjunction with the police department and your stakeholders to come up with ways to curtail the crime or the problem. And we decided 2 months ago, police department and Madisonville, that Madison and Wetzel, and some of the surrounding streets in that area were being hit really hard with theft from autos and stolen what she was just speaking of. So part of the CPOP project was for us to start doing some proactive things to stop it. So what we have done in that last couple of months, we did directed patrols. That is when the police go out in the area, maybe initially we started with dispatched directed patrols. So the dispatcher would dispatch a B car to Madison and Wetzel in the surrounding area to just be visible. And that was all through the night. It was like every hour on the hour. There was a B car that's going to be in that area. We also did some undercover work, see if we could catch individuals that was lurking around and trying to break into cars in the middle of the night. We also went out and did some safety, what we call SEPTED. It's when we go out and do a safety talk, and then we talk to businesses and different apartment complexes where cars are being hit, of ways where they could, not become a victim. And how she was saying, don't leave items in your car that is enticing for somebody to break the window. I mean, it could be literally cell phone charger. It can be literally a dime sitting on your console. A little of anything, somebody will break your window just to see what's in there. So we went out and did some safety talks in some of the apartment complexes and talking to people that live in that area that were hit. And we made a huge difference. That area alone went from about 27 cars in a month being theft from autos or theft from autos or theft of vehicles to nearly none. None. We had none in July. No cars. Not one in that area. But when we in one area, we all know that moves it to another area. So as she was reading, we got some of the areas that has been getting hit. Harrington, was another one, Waterston. So now that they see that the police is in that area, they're tampering in the other areas. So we're still doing the CPOP project for about another 2 months, because then once we were doing that and we made a big difference, there started being drug activity, Roe and Simpson. So then that became our next project for Madisonville. We didn't go anywhere else. We stayed in Madisonville. Typically, we move on and go to another neighborhood, but we stayed in Madisonville to deal with the drug activity at Simpson and Roe. We did some undercover work there. We did the directed patrols there. We made some arrests. We did a SWAT call up. We did everything to deal with a house right there on Simpson. So hopefully now you don't see as much activity there. Anybody that live on Roe and Simpson, because we've hit it hard. Now we know that individuals will move. We've arrested 2 individuals? We arrested 2 individuals. We got a gun, we got some drugs. We towed some cars. But we do know that some of the activity has moved down the street. So we're actively looking at that. So just hang on tight. We're still in the area. We're just doing what we do. So I just want some of you all to know that if you're thinking, well, now that they moved from this house, they're somewhere else. No, we're still there. You may just not see us, but we're still there. You have any questions?
Died right on me.
First of all, what is the age that's committing these crimes here in Madisonville? Or the ages? And what did you use to prohibit, the crime to decrease in those areas? Everybody have a security camera on their door? What did y'all use to prohibit the crime?
Talking about for the drug activity? Both of them are CPOP projects. Which one? Both of them? Well, we used undercover operations. We did have access to people's ring cameras, and they were nice enough to let us view ring cameras and things of that nature. But our surveillance is the best thing that we can use to identify individuals. As far as the age range, it was the highest age was like mid-40s, all the way down to your 20s. So it's an age really don't.
I thought it would be like 15.
No. I mean, you get some 20-year-olds, but the highest age was in the 40s. Yes, ma'am.
Is that we need to be involved. You can do it by contacting Monique or the police department through email or leave a voicemail, but you can't just expect them to work blindly without our participation and cooperation, because I live on Road near Simpson and it's been bad. I mean, we've seen a lot of activity and it's quiet. Quieter, and yeah, move somewhere else, but if we all participate and all help by just looking out your window and seeing what's going on, I mean, you don't have to go out and say, hey, stop that. But Monique's been awesome, and I've contacted you also, and we can make a difference. It's our community. We need to take it back.
And you can remain anonymous. You don't have to give us your name. We're not gonna hound you for your name if you want to give information. We got a plethora of emails and, voicemails giving us information that was, quite helpful when we were doing our sting operation and everything like that. So again, just because you don't see us don't mean that we're not working. Madisonville is like one of our top priorities now because of the CPOP project. And I also want to let you know, Terry, that we're going to invite some people down to when we present this to the chief, when we present all of our stats and the difference that we've made in the pocket areas of Madisonville. Of course, we can't be everywhere at once, but if you call us while we're in Madisonville now is the perfect time to get in touch with us if you have a problem. Don't wait till we finish the CPOP project. I mean, we still will be available, but we're here in Madisonville in numbers because of the CPOP project.
You can use my email. You can email me anytime. If I don't respond right away, believe that I got it. Do it though. I love cards there. So you can,
Their business cards.
And then I'm gonna leave cards up there as well in case you can't reach Officer Martin. My card, I'll leave some of my cards up there as well.
I'm glad the things that matters to you are getting a little bit more attention and support from the police department, because my house got broken in twice. We say about 15 years ago, got broken twice. And we never found the one who opened my home. I guess because of the service that we retrieved in, but it seemed like now since Madisonville is becoming an upcoming community, and like we're getting all the support that we should have got back then, but thanks a lot for
Well,
doing your job.
Yeah, we want to make sure, I mean, we're new to Madisonville. We weren't here 15 years ago, but we want to definitely make a difference now. Had I been here, I've been on 25 years, but if I was here 15 years ago, I would have been doing the same kind of work I'm doing now. But, we want to assist all the citizens of Madisonville. We know that a lot of neighborhoods are up and coming. but that's our job, to make sure everybody's safe.
About a week ago, during a morning walk, just turning the corner from Plainville on Randall, I happened to get there at the same time as 5 police cars responding to the residential center right there near the corner of Granville and Plainville. And the 5 policemen were going in and they were met by someone who worked there. She was having trouble with a resident that she couldn't handle anymore and that apparently the staff couldn't handle. And the policeman said, "We want to help you, but this is like the 5th or 6th time we've had to respond, and every time we respond, we tie up 5 or 6 different officers because we don't want to get hurt trying to do this by ourselves, but this is not our job." And I fully agree with that. And what concerns me is whether or not, how much this has been going on, and should this be something that the community should be aware of, that we got a facility within our community that's tying up our police force with 4 or 5 officers trying to do something that, because they're trying to house people that the staff cannot handle. And to me, that's a problem that we in the community should be aware of, and I'm just kind of concerned. Well, I overheard the whole conversation as I was walking by. And I totally agree with what the officer was saying, that call tied up 5 different officers for 1 person. And he said, this is like the 5th or 6th time we've been here. And to me, that's something that concerns me, that we got a facility like that in our community. Because what happens when the officers are gonna be tied up and the staff can't handle this person?
Well, it's not uncommon for residential homes or facilities to get people there that they may have a problem with or they can't deal with because of the assessment of them getting placed there. Maybe it's not working out, but there's steps that they have to take in order to get the person removed. And we can't turn them away if they need police services. We still have to come and respond for any sort of assistance. Now, whether or not it's technically wasting our time, I don't know if I would say it's wasting our time because we got 10 hours to do police work every day. So if a facility needs us, if a resident needs us, whoever needs us, we got time. We got time for it. Anybody else have any questions?
October the 10th for the CPOP program. Okay. Okay. Yep, you got it. All right.
We were gonna have a project, a community engagement project. So that project is gonna be that trunk or treat. So if you live in any other, come up to the, it's gonna, Artsville. It's gonna be at Artsville and police will be there. We'll be handing out candy. Some of the apartment facilities will be there handing out candy. So that's the community engagement event that Madison Mill is having. That's a part of the CPOP project. Any other questions? And I'll leave some of my cards up there along with Officer Martin, if anybody have any. Can't reach her.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next up is manager for our library.
Good evening, all. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, awesome. There we go. Now I hear myself. Oh boy. My name is Mariah. I'm the newish still, branch manager at the Madisonville Branch Library. So if you haven't stopped by and said hi to me yet, please do so. I'm really excited to be here. Always want to meet new faces. So I'm going to talk about just two things real quick tonight. This Monday, the 25th, from 4 to 7, we are doing a customer appreciation event at the new branch. It's going to be super fun. We have prizes and free books. You know, all the books are always free, but we have free books you can keep and take home forever. We're gonna have refreshments. Did I say a door prize? A really great door prize featuring a bunch of our favorite small community businesses. So please come out 4 to 7. CPS is off that day, so I'm hoping a lot of families can come. It's gonna be a good time. Monday, the 25th, 4 to 7. Oh, and we're also going to have makerspace demonstration. So our makerspace has been very popular for those of you who don't know. And a lot of people still come in and they say, what can I do here? So we're going to have demonstrations available at each one of our makerspace bays. So that'll be really cool. I hope to see you guys there. Some library news. Early last month, the Library Board of Trustees voted unanimously to place a levy on the November 2023 ballot. This levy has been assigned issue number 20. And it's the 10-year renewal of an existing 1 mil levy with a 0.5 mil increase. So this proposed 1.5 mil levy would amount to a total of $3.58 per month, or $43 per year, per 100,000 of property value. At the Madisonville branch, we are proud to offer emerging technology usage, which I just kind of mentioned here. But in addition to that, we recently added a adult computer skills class that I'm leading along with our specialist, Erin. This is from a lot of feedback from some of our seniors who said, hey, Makerspace is great, but I still don't really feel comfortable using my laptop. So we're doing that on Thursday mornings once a month. That's been really successful. If you have any seniors, and I shouldn't say it's not just for seniors, it's for anyone who just kind of wants like a really beginner intro, safe space to explore laptops and computer usage, because there is a lot out there and I'm only good at it because I do it every single day. So we're excited about that. Limitless learning is a really big push at our branch. And so it's not just adults, it's kids and teens too, of course. One program I wanted to highlight is our Kids Chef program. That's been super popular with our kiddos. They learn how to make a healthy meal, prep the ingredients, make it together with friends. It's been really, really popular. We hope to kind of expand that in the future. If you have any questions about the upcoming library levy, I left a information sheet on library funding for the fiscal year 2023 on the table at the front there. So please grab that or stop by and come talk to me at the library. Last thing real quick, we haven't been in the new branch recently. The final kind of component of our new building was installed a few weeks ago. It was back ordered for quite a while. It's called an Everbright. I think of it as like a super jumbo size light bright. It has, I had to count them actually, 252 different like tactile pieces that you can turn, and it creates like, has anyone seen it yet? Am I explaining this okay? No? A little slight nod, yeah. So it's really cool. It's an interactive piece that is geared towards younger ones, but I myself have had a really good time playing with it. So stop by on Monday for our Asian event and see if they have a bright and come talk to me. Any questions?
Have you decided what they're gonna do with the old library?
That's a great question. Yeah, we get that all the time. So the library, we still own that building. It's a beautiful historic piece of Madisonville. We have no plans to sell it at this time. Currently, it's being used for a few different, in a few different ways. We are utilizing it as storage space. A lot of our branches across the county, just like in Madisonville, are getting these really awesome updates. And so with that, a lot of storage needs to be utilized. We have some internal departments that are working out of the old building as well. Any other questions? Okay. Yes. Kids Chef is geared towards school age, but if you have a younger one and you are willing to be a helping hand, then we'd be more than happy to have them. Yep. Hey, thank you all.
All right, thank you. And next up is Brian here at the Rec Center.
All right. Well, a little bit louder than everybody else, apparently. Still louder than everyone else. So we've got our basketball hoops done, we've got the soccer done, we've got Bramble done. We're waiting on a lot of our equipment. Obviously, you can see the new chairs and tables, so we do have that in. All the electronic stuff that we got on that grant, like the TVs, the projectors, and all that other stuff, is sitting in our IT department. He's on paternity leave downtown, so once he gets back, it'll be installed, so. Look forward to having that. It'll make not having that screen a lot better because we have a big projector. And it will be a ceiling mounted projector with a big screen. So, yay. All right. Our fall programs are underway. We're still looking for some more. Right now, we have a lot of staff out because we only allow, our part-time staff are only allowed 1,500 hours on the year. So they'll be back in October. So we'll ramp up everything in October. So we got a couple weeks before that happens. But we do have all kinds of basketball and volleyball going on right now, and some other different classes, open gyms, drop-in, after-school day camp, the normal rec center stuff. If there's stuff that you'd like to see, let us know. Pickleball's huge. It's taken over the world. So we do have pickleball in the daytime for seniors, as well as line dance and ballroom dance and a few other things. So we do have a few other programs that'll be starting soon. The lady who does salsa on the square is going to be teaching salsa here starting in a week and a half on Mondays and Thursdays. So that's going to be good. We're in the process of hiring Trey Scotty. You guys are basketball fans, and especially Xavier University fans will know that he coached there for a while. And he also lives here in Madisonville. He's been coming up, coaching basketball with people, working with them individually in small groups. But once we get them, we'll be able to do big group stuff with them to free or no cost. I mean, free or little cost. Free and no cost is the same. So anybody got anything they want to see that we're not doing that you'd like to see happen? The fitness room? No, we don't have the money for that. The money that all the stuff that we bought was through a grant for after school day camp. That because this is the after school day camp room, I can put a projector in here so they can watch movies and stuff like that. Until we get more people in the building, just all the time. We got to raise it. The right one? I'll be more than happy to have one, right? I can't find one. The fitness, a brick and mortar fitness grant is one of the hardest grants in the world to find. They're just not, they're so few and far between. And the fact that we're a government agency, there's nothing that I've been able to find that qualifies us for that. That being said, there's no grants available. That's what I'm saying. If you know a grant, let me know. I can get it done, but there are no brick and mortar fitness grants out there. It's just not something that they do. There's a lot of health and exercise grants that are like one-offs and stuff like that, but for equipment and stuff, it's hard because those benefit one person versus Health Expo benefits hundreds of people. Does that make sense? Because the fitness equipment, for them to write a grant for a fitness equipment, they're going to come in, only the person that's using that fitness equipment is going to benefit. And then the fact that we charge to get in the fitness room makes it even harder because, I mean, it's a for-profit. That's a for-profit room, and it's not, tax dollars don't pay for them because it doesn't benefit the community as a whole. It only benefits the individuals that use it. Make sense? So a lot of our free programs are programs that are benefit community, programs that benefit just individuals. That's the ones we charge for. Just because we want to benefit the community. And we have limited resources and limited funding. We need to get our numbers up. I tell you guys all the time, you want the pool to stay open, you got to go to the pool. If you don't go to the pool doesn't stay open. Fitness room in the rec center is the exact same. I mean, only having 5 or 10 people that work out on a day doesn't generate enough revenue. Well, and the problem is, and to be perfectly honest with you, if you look around the surrounding area within a 2 to 3 mile range, you'll find 9 or 10 gyms that we're competing with. So it has nothing to do with the equipment. It has to do with the other equipment in the other facilities that have better at 24-hour access and pools and spas and stuff like that. We just don't have, we're a rec center. Yeah, and we have to prioritize the whole versus the few. Yeah, anybody else? All right.
All right, next up is Dr. Mack from John P. Parker.
This is my first face-to-face community council since COVID. I think I should pat myself on. Good evening. Good evening. I am Dr. Mack. I'm the principal of John P. Parker School, your neighborhood elementary school. So I have to start off today letting you all know that our school is a very special place. If you have not visited your neighborhood school, we invite you to come by to our beautiful campus, our outdoor learning centers. I'm going to start there by thanking the Reds Community Fund for pulling companies together to give us such a wonderful gift. I have to give a shout out to Kat Petmeyer, who sat on that committee and met every single week for months to make that happen. So we all need to give Kat a hand. Thank you, Kat. I'm serious. If you have not been over there, it's pretty fantastic. It is pretty fantastic. Walking areas, gardens, nature playscape for the little ones. So our school community is one that is embracing the concept that you all selected for the school, global environmental literacy. We are teaching our kids about being global citizens. We're teaching them about being environmental stewards. We're teaching them about digital literacy, their health and wellness. But one of the components that I really like is we're teaching them service learning. And they're learning that they have a responsibility to make this world a better place. Not only do they have that responsibility, they have the ability to do so. Just because they're small and they're young doesn't mean they can't have an impact. And our students at John P. Parker School are having an impact. And it's showing up in our report card. Did you hear about our report card? We got 4 out of 5 stars overall. I am so proud to share that with you all tonight. And I believe it's because of the hard work and the support of this community. The community has risen up and stood by John P. Parker all of these years. I can remember years ago, my second year, and I think Bob will remember this board meeting they had at the school. And there were folks coming up, one after the other, saying, John P. Parker is a failing school. I don't want my child at John P. Parker. One gentleman even likened our school to a place where his child would have to be like a soldier. And I was so offended because I knew the promise of the children and I knew the promise of this community. And years later, we are seeing that promise come to fruition. And I have to tip my hat off to all the Madisonville community, our partners, our amazing teachers, our family, and all of you. Thank you all for your support. Now, as you all may know, we lost our resource coordinator last year. And it made for a very, very difficult year because at John P. Parker School, we were coming out of the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, we had about 70 partnerships supporting the work that we were doing. And then last year, we had to try to rebuild. We were able to get about 30 partnerships up and running, but that was with me, my staff, some community folks like Ms. Botos, taking the time to really work with us to try to bring those folks back to the table. Well, I'm glad tonight to introduce you to our new resource coordinator, Asia Shingshang. The Cincinnati Board of Education has a policy that states that in order for you to have a resource coordinator, there has to be an accompanying lead agency. So a nonprofit organization that will hire the resource coordinator for the school. So you all know for many, many years, Ms. Knox and I worked together. And she was our resource coordinator. Many of you worked with her over the years. Well, when the policy went into full effect, that eliminated that position. So we were able to partner with Imani Family Center and bring Ms. Shing Shang on board. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to her for her to share with you all tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Mack. Good evening. I'm just happy to be here to represent John P. Parker as their new resource coordinator. It's only been a couple of weeks for me, but I've already seen the amazing things they've done for the students in the community, and I'm just looking forward to keep building relationships with the community and our partnerships so that we can basically just do it for our children and make sure that they have the best opportunities and enrichment that we can provide them. So my doors are always open if you want to speak to me about partnership opportunities, volunteer opportunities, or just share information. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
This Madisonville has an upcoming community gentrification. Has gentrification pushed out a lot of, I'm just curious, has it pushed out a lot of African-American children out of John Parker School because of gentrification? I just want to know, I'm curious.
Okay. I can't speak to the impact that gentrification is having in that way, but this is what I'm going to say. Many of our students have been affiliated with this community for generations. Because of whatever is going on with housing in Madisonville, they have now dispersed all over the city. But guess what? They come right back to John P. Parker School. They want to be a part of John P. Parker School. So our attendance looks a little different than some schools, but these are generational families that are choosing John P. Parker School. Not only are we seeing that, but we're also seeing an interesting evolution of our school community. When I first came to John P. Parker School in 2000, a long time ago, when I didn't have gray hair, when I first came to John P. Parker School, I came as an assistant principal. We were almost 100% African American. By the time I became principal, we were about 95% African American. At last count, we were 70% African American. So there are some changes that are happening. To be honest, last year would have been a good year coming out of the pandemic to try to track it, but trying to be the principal is some days the secretary, other days the resource coordinator. Those types of tracking I wasn't able to do, but it is certainly something that the Board of Education will be able to give you data.
So the kids that dwell in this community has a priority of John Parker than those that live outside.
Well, we don't turn anybody away.
Even the ones that live out of Madisonville.
We don't turn anybody away.
So don't you have to have a certain amount of kids outside of the community allowed to come to John Parker? Because the priority is the kids that live there first.
Well, we are a neighborhood school, but we are not fully enrolled. So our building capacity is 550 students. Right now, we're about, at one point before the pandemic, we were over 400, or right around 400. Right now, we're building back up, and last count, we were at 336. So by Christmas, we'll probably be in the 360. So that still leaves almost 200 seats that folks could come into. We don't turn anybody away. If you don't live in a neighborhood, you can't get transportation, your parents will have to transport you. But I don't believe in that on a personal or professional level. I believe that whomever comes in the door, that's who you serve.
But you're not saying it because Madisonville's changing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's changing, but we embrace everyone. Yes, ma'am.
Maybe to clarify, like CPS, the system, right? Is it described as open, defined as open enrollment?
Well, CPS does have an open enrollment policy. There is a process to enrolling as an open enrollment, school, you know, if you want to participate in that program. We don't have a lot of families that are coming in through open enrollment. They're mostly coming in from around the city. For example, I was speaking to a parent at parent conferences the other week. No, actually it was at an IEP meeting, and she said, we're never leaving this school. I live in this neighborhood over here, but my children are successful at John P. Parker. So until her children age out of John P. Parker, she has every intention of keeping her children at John P. Parker. And she has that option because we are a neighborhood school and we take kids from all over the city as long as you can provide your own transportation.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, we have a special presentation, also from a CPS staff member, but from the College Career and Community Resource Center, Advisor Dominica Brantley.
Good evening, everyone. As he said, my name is Dominica Brantley, and I'm also with Cincinnati Public Schools. I'm with the College Career Community Resource Center. This is a new district initiative that opened our doors back in August of 22. So all last year, we were in the schools talking with our seniors and juniors about what's next. The goal of this center is to really support and assist students as they transition out of high school into a post-secondary pathway. So that means whether or not they go to college, or if they wanted to do a certificate program, if they want to go into the military, or if they want to work. Our job is to really support them in their idea of what success is for them. So we will meet one-on-one, we will meet in group fashion with students around whatever their goals are. We do go into the schools to meet with students. We will come out into the community to meet with students. And we also welcome the community to come to our space. We are located at the Board of Education on Burnett Avenue, the first floor. So as soon as you come in, right across from the checkpoint. Trying to think what else you need to know. So again, we just finished 1 year and we are on our second year, and we're looking to come out into the community more so that we can share the good work that we can do for your students. At this time, do we have any questions or anything about the center? Yes, so there should be some flyers in the back. If not, I can leave some more, but there's a flyer and a brochure. This flyer does have a QR code on it. If you know of a young person who might be struggling and need that extra support in order to get employed or get back into college or even get into college, please feel free. You can register them and then we will reach out to them. Again, our job is to really support our students as they go on to be successful in whatever area that they deem that they want to go into. Thank you.
Okay, I think we need to move on to the board reports. I'll try to go quick because it's already 8 o'clock. You see on this TV screen right here, if people remember at the beginning of the year, we had meetings talking about this parcel of land right here on Madison Road. This is Madison Bowl down here. And this is the rail line here that divides Madison Bowl from Oakley. So that apartment complex is not moving forward, and the property owner is choosing to move forward building a auto-oriented strip mall, which is the same property owner who recently built that Swenson's just on the other side of the rail line. And so just want to update folks is currently they had contacted us about coming and presenting, asking for a zone change for these two parcels. And because they were interested in opening the daycare in there, that's currently not allowed. He did not want to wait until this meeting to present, so he has said that he has decided to withdraw that zone change request, that he's not going to pursue a zone change request with the city of Cincinnati, but I'll let you know if I hear anything else. He did say in a meeting with the zoning hearing examiner, though, about his property over here, the Swenson's property. He did mention that this property would warrant a traffic light here. So I'll keep you up to date with anything that I hear for that. The other thing you'll notice in the packet that we passed out is after this president's report, there is a document from the city of Cincinnati's planning department called Essential Elements of a Plan. So last year during the budget process, we requested a neighborhood plan for all of the neighborhood that got approved. And the city is willing to move forward with that. And this kind of goes through what requires a plan to be approved by the city legislatively. And there's an important section here because the community council needs to form a steering committee to help sponsor it, kind of create the flavor of it, and help plan locations of the meeting and stuff like that. You can read through that. So this is kind of like an advertisement for that future process. What we would do as the community council is we would, kind of like how we did 2 months ago for the nominating committee, we would kind of vote to like approve essentially a temporary committee to form around that. But long story short, the city is ready to move forward with that in the next year. But yes, you have a question here? You can take mine. Okay, so I know from our committees, I know Ms. Tony's got something going on, announcement for everybody for the Youth Community Council.
My name is Rosemary Tanks, but nobody knows that name. I'm Miss Tony. I run the Madisonville Youth Community Council. If I'm not mistaken, we've been running it since 2011, since we have a new development here in Madisonville. I don't remember the date. I'm sure Sarah does, but I don't. So this, for the last 2 years, we've been doing summer employment for the kids. And this year, it was different than last year. This year, we did all our work in the community. We've had, can't hear me? Okay. We had 11 kids we employed in the community this summer. They were all paid $11 an hour, and we are still working on that. We've had trainings in customer service. We did a brief intro into financial literacy, and we're trying to connect with the person doing financial literacy here at the rec center to have a more intense program. We had leadership games to prompt engagement. We went to Bethel, Ohio, took the youth there and actually had a youth men think tank. That was just last Saturday. It's on our Facebook page. There they met with, I think there were about 2 30-year-old young men who are entrepreneurs. Actually, they both work for IRS, so that was really something. We've done a lot of work in the area. We were kind of upset. We built in 2015 5 chess tables and benches to go to Madisonville. We also built the benches for the rec center. Right now, there are only 3 of those left. One was destroyed by Bramble and Plainfield. One was stolen 2 weeks ago off Madison Road, cut from the ground up. So I'm asking the kids now, right, what they want to do for Madisonville. And it's a big question because with them doing that kind of stuff, they're saying, here we are. but those things are being removed. So we're still talking about that. The kids continue to support beautification committee and planting flowers and cleanup. I think Mr. Cable said there's a problem with the flowers in that area. They're coming up missing. We don't know what's in the air of Madisonville, and we're hoping we can improve it. But the kids seem to be really involved, wanting to work. The numbers are going up. I'm going to be honest. I was trying to back out. I had 5 clients, and now I have 5 kids. Now I have 15. So that didn't work. But we appreciate all the support that Madisonville gives us. The funds from NSP really help, and I'm working with someone to see if we can get some other grants to do more work. We are going to be reaching out to the tool bank soon. It's something new we haven't done in a long time, and I'm hoping we have the rest of your support. We actually had 3 adults help. They train the kids on how to use some tools. They train them how to use the big, I don't know what you call them, things you use on the farm. They used all of that. Liz from the Cupcake Factory, her father came out and showed the kids how to use drills and stuff like that. So they're kind of busy. We've had a busy year. Our group is from, it was 12 to 17. Now it's 11 to 17. We meet the second and fourth Thursdays of every month here from 5:30 to 7. We meet at the library the third Monday of the month for any type of training and education from 5:30 to 7 on the third Monday. You're welcome to refer any kids in that area. And thank you for supporting us all of these years.
Thanks. All right, next up is Kate. She's got some quick announcements about that farmer's market that we did at Mad Llama with Brick Gardens.
Hi, I'm Kate. It's Tony. So real quick, so we did a first pop-up farmers market this year. We partnered with Brick Gardens. It ran from the end of July up until a week and a half ago. So first of all, thank you to everyone that came out and supported. We had several of our kids work the stand. They learned how to do setup, cleanup, everything in between. Some of them realized they never want to run their own business again, and some of them have gone on to create their own businesses. With that initiative, the kids raised over $259, which was a really big deal because the premise of the market was take what you need, give what you can. So no prices were set. We had people that gave cents, we had people that gave checks, and it was very much appreciated. Those funds are actually going to be reinvested. Our kids are going to be doing a pumpkin patch for the MedPace market next Saturday on the 30th. So they're going to be giving away some little bitty pumpkins to the kids, and then they'll have pumpkins that will be available for sale for $5. They've decided that those proceeds are going to be going to a couple of initiatives for Education Committee. One, we're actually going to be bringing out, we're going to have a gun violence prevention class here in November. As we get closer to the holidays, we want people to think about making sure that they're storing and securing safely. And then we're also going to be partnering with Artsville, and we're going to be bringing out a couple of Shakespeare workshops for the kids during that week that they're off of school, the week of the 18th. So be on the lookout for that to sign up your kids. And again, support their initiative because they're literally paying for their own program, which is really awesome. So thank you.
All right. Okay, so moving to neighborhood agency announcements. First up is Artsville. They're also a member of the Trunk or Treat. I think that was the key of what she wanted to announce. Okay.
Everybody who wants to bring their car, decorate it, pass out some candy, will be in the parking lot across from Artsville. We will be partnering with the police, the library. There's a number of organizations that'll be with us this year, School of Rock. And so we're looking for a huge crowd this year. So please come out and visit us. Artsville is very busy. We just received an Artsway grant. We're going to be doing 8 mini murals on the side of the building. We're working with Parker, Schroeder, Woodford School to try to find, I think, 10 to 12 children who are going to be helping us create that along with a couple of artists. We're also working with Seven Hill School to put an 18-foot mural on a wall inside of the building. So we've got a lot going on and a lot of programs happening. Follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, Josh is from the business chamber, but said you're good, okay. But if everybody doesn't know, the other guy with the big beard is from the business chamber as well as school rep. And the next is Imker.
Hi, everyone. So I've got 3 announcements from MKirk. There was a paper back there when you came in, and if you didn't get it, I've got a copy of it here. Earlier this year, we applied to the city of Cincinnati for a neighborhood business district support grant, which was a COVID relief grant for small businesses to help with facade improvements and outdoor dining. And we received this grant and we're able to distribute it to 17 to 18 businesses. And on the sheet, there's a list of all businesses who received the grant and the project. So if you didn't get that, it's over there, or I have a few here. It's great because they're all along Madison Road and Wetzel, as well as down at Bramble and Wetzel. Secondly, we have 9 homes that are under construction throughout the neighborhood. 4 are complete, and they are for sale for $210,000. They are part of the city's NOFA program. We partnered with the city of Cincinnati, the port, and Titan Real Estate Group to build these homes. There's information on our website about it, around applying for a home. You can look there for that information. And then finally, on October 7th, a Saturday, we're going to work with the Tool Bank and hopefully all of you to do some trail cleanup on the Little Duck Creek Trail and have breakfast on the bridge. Now that the street is closed at Settle, we'll put some tables out and have breakfast. And anyone who wants to come out and help clean up or just have a donut and coffee, you're welcome to come hang out. Thank you. Yes, they're 210,000. 210. 210. Yeah, and each house has about $100,000 in subsidy to keep it low.
I'm not saying we have to test it, but I am confident they sell it. So they're not building anything. You're building things for people to have a high income. You're not looking out for someone that I've been here all my life. And thank God with the house I was able to afford, I could not, if I leave out here right now in Madisonville, I could not afford to move back in Madisonville. And it's not fair. The system works.
I agree.
But you in our community, who you're looking for, who you looking out for? Are you looking out for people that have money? Are you trying to find, or you developing for people to have different incomes? And I'm not saying everybody got to be on welfare just to get a nice, decent home. If you're not building, you're in our community, you're not looking out for our community, you're only looking out for certain budget. That's not, to me, that's not fair. Why are you in our community?
Well, these homes, we did have to raise over $100,000 to help keep the price low. They are significantly below market rate, and they are restricted to people earning 80% of the area median income and below. And it's very hard to raise money for, to keep prices down. And, we did the best we could. We partnered with, there's $65,000 per house in it from the city, and the port put money into each house. So, we've looked a lot of places to keep those prices down. To buy a new home at that price, it's still very, very low. Hoping that people of all races will buy these homes. People of all races will buy these homes.
Maybe to clarify, these homes are being basically sold at a loss because, right? So they're being sold for less than it costed to build them.
And like been said, we got to keep prices down, Sarah. And I understand how I should say this, how you want, people want homes. But there's some things, some places we really don't need to be building more things that folks can't afford. Okay? Because like Ben said, all these folks here that's here in this community council, the prices are already up. They don't need any more added to the plate and burden and stuff. Hello, they're already burning enough. We just need to work together and keep things down at prices folks can afford. You work with me, Sarah, I'll work with you, okay?
One more from Ann here.
I just want to say thank you for keeping the prices down because these are 3-bedroom, 2 or 2.5
2.5.
bath homes with a basement or not.
7 of them are 2 stories with a basement, full basement, high ceilings, and then 2 of the homes are ranch style homes and fully accessible. I don't believe those have a basement.
Okay, but I know that prices are very, very, very high, and it's hard to build a home that people, an income-based home. So thank you for doing everything that you did and partnering with all the others. We do need affordable housing. How much income would it require of a family to be able to purchase a $210,000 home?
So, well, the income limit at 80%, you cannot earn more than 80% of area median income. So for a single person, it's around $53,000 a year. The numbers are listed on our website. For a family of 4, I believe it's $76,000. So, you know. Oh, sorry, it's mcurc.org. It's listed on this flyer.
Oh, you got one, another one in the back here.
I agree with Ann, Sarah. These are definitely tax abated. Okay, if there's ever a property that needs to be tax abated, it's these. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you.
And one more in the back, sorry.
So looking at these numbers, what if someone is looking for a home that doesn't have that 50, doesn't make 53? There are a lot of people that make maybe 35 or 40. Is there anything, like any program they could do, or how would that work if they're actively looking?
Yeah, great question. It just means that you can't exceed that number, that you can make less than that.
Oh.
There are several down payment assistance programs available. There's $5,000 available through an organization called Home Base. And that is only available for people purchasing homes that were developed by community development corporations like MCC. So you would have access to that. And then the city has another down payment assistance program called the ADDIE program. And you're also eligible for that. So you can stack these down payments on top of each other. And sometimes even certain lenders have their own down payment assistance programs. So it's possible for you to put down a large down payment with these programs, therefore reducing your mortgage amount, which will then, of course, lower your monthly payment. So I can't tell you exactly what, a payment would be.
Oh, no. I was just wondering, like, with that, because I know there's quite a few of us in the neighborhood that we don't meet that. There's some of us that are making 20,000, or some of us that are making up to 47. But it's nowhere near that 53. So I was just making sure that it was like the max number that the person can make, just so that more people had a chance.
Yeah. And so if you are interested, I would suggest getting in touch with a lender and getting pre-approved before contacting the port, because the port is handling all of the intake and evaluating incomes and doing all of that. So people need to have a realtor and have pre-approval from a bank before approaching the port. And you also need to take a homeownership class through Working in Neighborhoods or the Homeownership Center. And some of those are online, making it really convenient.
Okay, and are all that information on your site?
Yep.
One follow-up, or actually 2 follow-ups. These homes are property tax abated, so their property taxes will be reduced, making them more affordable. Okay.
I don't know I don't know the answer to that question, but it's whatever the city's residential tax abatement program. Yeah. It's in line with the city's residential tax abatement program.
And the other thing, we as a community, I think owe Sarah a debt of gratitude for all the countless hours that she has put in to all of these properties and making Madisonville a better place. The affordable homes we desperately need and at least on these homes, there are partnerships from every possible source to make them as affordable as possible. But you know, somebody's going to bring up St. Margaret's. We need to make sure that that property is affordable and you know, it is income-based sale prices so that we can get folks that make $30,000-$40,000 into those. So, thank you. But it's not Sarah, it's MPERC, it's the city, it's OFA,
Port,
the port. Yeah.
lots of players.
Okay. Yeah, it would be I'm gonna call, we have a unique agency that we don't normally hear from. We have Elizabeth Bartley from Invest in Neighborhoods, who they are the nonprofit. They're like the community council for community council. That's not true. That's not true, but like they're the advocacy organization for community council. Is that better?
Thanks for giving me a minute, and sorry I wasn't on the agenda. I was very last minute on this. And yes, I'm Elizabeth Bartley with Invest in Neighborhoods, and really the simplest way to put it is we're the support organization for all the community councils. So we try to help you guys get money, and we do advocacy at the city, and we do all sorts of things like that. And we answer the phone a lot when people call and say, what does this mean and what's going on? I popped in tonight because there is a fund that is becoming available right now that is called the VTICA. And I'm not going to spend a long time explaining the history of the VTICA, but it is, short version is it is a fund that can collect in a neighborhood where developers have agreed to contribute a percentage of the value of their tax abatement. So if they got a tax abatement from the city, that's who does this, to a fund for the neighborhood. And this money is available to be used to be applied for by any of the community organizations in the neighborhood. And it takes a while to accumulate, and it's not every single neighborhood. It really has to depend on what's been going on in your neighborhood. But right now, Madisonville has 74,000 and change that they have available to apply for. And the application process, I think, officially opened today, as in we sent the email around. So therefore, I think the link is live and it started today. But there's an application process that is fairly straightforward. The application process is open through December, so that there is plenty of time for the community councils to talk about these things. It can be used for a very broad range of projects. So rather than trying to detail what it can't, it's more like a lot of the things that you guys already do. So it could be from helping with development to doing some of the infrastructure pieces that are needed to doing community engagement, all sorts of stuff. So this is sort of the soft launch for you guys, just to let you know. We're doing a training and it's home-based manages this fund. So we're doing a joint training question and answer Thursday, October 5th, that I believe already a couple of the board members are going to come to get more information. But I really just wanted to let you know, and that was really it. That's why I was popping in. And there we go. Isn't that awesome? He pulled up the website, so I don't have to wave the piece of paper around. Any questions? Sarah. Oh, wait, you first. Sarah.
Well, you saying this program, homeowner in Madisonville, and they retired on Social Security, in $1,200 a month. They can apply for that?
No, it is for the neighborhood nonprofit, the community organizations. So it is for community councils, the CDCs, the business associations, whatever the community organizations are in the neighborhood.
So some of those organizations get money and grants already. But we're talking about a homeowner saying beautiful neighborhood and all that, but you're not gonna do anything. It's no different than what the Republican said, to have a baby, we ain't gonna help you with it. You gotta have a baby. We ain't gonna financially help you. So where do people that own Social Security or retirement and that, where do they get some help? When the city said, we want you to have a beautiful house, well, we want you to have this, but then I'm not gonna help you financially, but we're gonna help anchor to all the other ones that got money, the Port Authority, and that. Like we just gave out for Saks, $3 million for that building. To a rich person that could have gave the city of Cincinnati that building free, and then they turned around and gave it to Port Authority for $1.
So you're asking a whole lot of questions about city decisions and city processes that I can't answer. I'm not a politician. I'm not, so I do know that there are different programs for individual homeowners. There are programs through the city, programs through the county, programs through the CAA.
I know them little, working cooperative, that's a little chump change stuff. To fix your a furnace or something like that, which amounts to $300, $400, $500 for the furnace, and you may change the light bulb. We're talking about one organization getting millions of dollars, and the homeowner getting nothing. They getting
Again, I hear your pain,
so, but
I can't do anything about it.
I know that Cincinnati is the fourth worst managed city in the US. That's what we got here.
You have a question about this program?
Yeah, because I can only answer questions about this particular program.
That program should have been helping the people with their home.
But that was a
Not just,
decision made 7 years ago.
So, yeah, we just need to move on. It's already 8:30.
I'll just say fun fact that Madisonville would have had like 150,000 in there, but one of the developers who signed the V-Ticket agreement has gone AWOL, and that was for the development of the Madisonville self-storage facility on Madison Road. And the city, and well, not the city, but Home Base has been trying to track down this international conglomerate to try to get them to make their payments into this fund to no avail. So I say that just as a cautionary tale, so that when we ask a developer to sign these agreements, make sure that we're dealing with good people and we know how to find them and that they're truly committed to the project. Because
Yes, I understand
we
it's
could have
been
had a
a
lot more money.
challenge collecting some of these money from the developers, and I will say, Base is doing a pretty darn good job of actually getting the money out of people as best as they can. Something actually an important thing that I didn't mention is that you do not have to apply for all of this money all at once. You don't even have to apply this year if you don't want to. You haven't figured out what to do. So you can, whatever you need, and then the application process will open once a year. And if more money becomes available by the end of next year for your neighborhood, that gets added into your pot. But yeah, you don't have to be like, oh crap, we've only got, a very short amount of time to figure out how to spend all this money. You don't have to. So we want you guys to really kind of have a good think about it. And we are encouraging collaboration with the other community organizations so that maybe, what could we do that would be like really strategic, that we don't have an opportunity to fund from a different way because there are so few strings attached to this money. So really that was kind of, I wanted to let you know that and have a think about that.
Okay. Yeah, and this is the website, Home Base Cincy is the best way to search for it. And that's in the drop down under programs. All right, so it is 8:30. We do have 2 items to vote on that are separate items but very similar. So I wanted to have them addressed at the same time. They are what's called a revocable street privilege. So if a person wants to put something in the public right away, this is the legal contract that that organization or person would have with the city to allow them to put that item there. And so it's been a long road getting here to try to get this paperwork fixed. Like, if people remember Joan Willis, she had started this process before she moved out of the neighborhood and stepped down. So finally got that figured out with the city. And so if you go, we did not print it off because it's like 10 pages. But first one is for those planters and benches that Miss Tony was talking about earlier. So those are like the blue, red, and purple ones. We have planters in front of Bramble Park. There are planters and benches at Bramble and Wetzel, at Bramble and Erie, as well as some along Madison Road and Wetzel Road. And so they were put there 10 years ago, and apparently the city has not kept digital copies of that contract from 10 years ago. So we're gonna have to reapply for that revocable street privilege. And so I wanted to have a vote for the general body to approve it before I make that submission. That way it can be taken care of once and for all. Okay. I'll sit. Yeah.
So if you look on the website, it indicates that the benches need to be not wood, but they are currently wood. Are there plans to update those benches? Otherwise, it kind of seems like they should be removed. There's also a height stipulation on the planters of 2.5 feet.
Yeah, that was not current plans. We don't currently have funding to replace them. So that was something that I was going to try to work with on the city to see if there is like a waiver, how strict of a requirement that is, because that's part of the submission is a map and a picture of every single one. And so that would be more updates when I get that feedback from them on that. Okay.
So they're considering the sidewalk as a street? So they're on the sidewalk, they're not on the street. The benches are on the sidewalk.
Yes, so the public right-of-way, as it's called, if you think of a residential home, typically the public right-of-way, the property line, that starts about a foot on the other side of the sidewalk towards the house. So yes, the sidewalk is in the public right-of-way. It is not privately owned. And so yes, if you want to put anything in the public right-of-way, you have to get a revocable street privilege. Usually that's not a huge problem, but yeah. So the planters, a bench that's on the sidewalk that is in the public right-of-way, it is almost never its own parcel, property parcel, anything like that. It's just the public right-of-way. Yes.
Saying when we first built those, that we didn't have that? Or you're saying they can't find the paperwork for it? Which is it?
They do not have a copy of the paperwork on file at the legal department. No. Yeah. They don't have a copy. Will be the legal department would be in charge of all of this paperwork, but the approval authority who signs off on it would be the Department of Transportation. They're responsible for everything in the public right-of-way, with the exception of street trees. All right, are there any other questions about that specific item? No, there's no action pending on them, but this would help make it more formal from a legal perspective. Although the city would always reserve the right to cancel that at any moment and tell us to move it. But it does help us from maybe other agencies or property owners from trying to move it. And
So not having an agreement and cleaning that up is good. But we're gonna be voting tonight for approval, something that was approved before supposedly enough that they were built, but we're not in compliance with what was built. So we're voting to approve something that's not correct and built otherwise in wood and whatever she said. Does the agreement have those specifications, the heights and that it's not a wood bench?
yeah, so yeah, there is specific requirements for revocable street privilege. And if so, maybe a better example of this, if folks are familiar with the Better Bus Coalition, like they had to lobby the city government to change the rules for this so that they could build benches in other parts of the city at bus stops. So yeah, we're basically trying to bring our paperwork up to date since they don't have a copy of it. Yeah. Oh, so like maybe make a more specific motion, maybe, is that what you're kind of thinking of? Oh, okay. It's okay. So right.
I'm just saying that it'd be like saying, we approve of this having church benches in here when there's no church benches in here, they're chairs. So if we built wooden benches and we built planters that weren't at the height that's in this agreement, why would we approve this agreement? Unless it had language that said this or there's going to be in place.
Right. Right. So, and that would be, yeah, grandfather clause, right? Because ultimately, when the submission goes to the city, if there is like a denial for any characteristics, then yeah, we would have to remove them. Or, my initial step would be try to figure out a waiver or something like that. Yeah, so we can, yeah, okay. Yeah.
If it requires a variance, we could request a variance and then it would be appropriate to vote on revocable privileges. We should get the variance first.
Oh, what you got for me? Sorry.
I'm really confused because the question was a revocable street privilege application, which said we just need to renew an application that was previously done and approved, and now they can't find paperwork. All of a sudden, it's turned into the benches were wooden, they can't be wooden anymore, they got to be metal, the pots aren't high enough. Where did all of that come from? If we are simply trying to renew something that was already in the city and approved, what is all this other conversation about the wrong heights and the wrong materials and the wrong, all this other stuff. I've gotten lost in this conversation because it's gone way beyond what's on this piece of paper.
Yes, that's just being thorough, because that is the concern. And I would say that we're not renewing a contract because apparently if the city's legal department does not have the contract, like it basically doesn't exist because they are the legal authority to authorize such a thing. So what I'm asking is for me to be authorized to start those negotiations. Right, like I want in the meeting minutes, a vote saying that we have voted and agreed to apply for this revocable street privilege for the existing benches and planters that are owned by the community council. Okay, yeah, motion made by Sarah Sheets, seconded by Josh Ulrich. Thank you. Okay, so by show of hands, how many yeses do I have? I will start my left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Thank you. By show of hands, how many no's are there? I see 1. And then by show of hands, how many abstentions are there? I see 1. Okay, thank you. All right, if you turn to the last page of your project, okay, so this might be confusing, but so I'm going to pull it up on the map here real quick, but the last 2 pages, as double-sided, are for the Erie medians, as those folks might remember on internet. So for these guys, all right, so this is also a contract that would have to have the approval of the transportation department. And so couldn't find any evidence that we had voted on this either in the past. So I wanted to be clear, have some of the meeting minutes. So future councils couldn't just say that it never happened. But yes, when this intersection was redesigned, this is Erie at Bramble, Arnsby, and Brotherton Court. They added these 2 medians, landscape medians, and to be honest with you, the city will not take care of these. So when they put these in, they do so, with the assumption that the local community organization is going to take care of them. Once again, the city has the legal right to cancel this at any time that they feel, but they won't because they don't have anyone to do it. So this really is just catching up with paperwork because as far as I could tell, I couldn't find evidence that we had specifically voted to take on this responsibility as an organization. And I don't even know if they had originally sent this to us when it was issued and created in 2019. So that's basically it. I got 1 hand in the back. Is it?
You telling me, you said that the city said has nothing, you said nobody to fix this problem? Maintenance. So what type of maintenance are they talking about?
So that's that last page is you see this kind of landscaping. And so essentially it's the responsibility of signatory to maintain it.
Maintaining it. So like you just said, they didn't have nobody to, like you said, no one to do like maintenance. Maintaining. Here's the one thing. The city needs to quit coming up with these excuses and get the job done. Saying there ain't nobody that can't do it. Who do you think you're fooling? You can't fool me. Get out. They need to get out there and get them that stuff done. They need to finish fixing up these bad roads. especially over there by Red Bank, over there going towards Seven Hills School. That road is crumbling. And they saying ain't got nobody to fix it. Man, you better go back and do your research and get this stuff done before it gets cold. Winter's just right around the road. Hello, issue.
What about the foraging garden? The city, or are we responsible for that as well?
The foraging garden is the Civic Garden of Cincinnati. That one is unfortunate. It's kind of complicated, but that organization holds maintenance agreement for that spot. However, they do not actually provide that as a service. So like I know of one specific, so they will help you get it started. They will help a community advocate or organization get a garden started, but they, again, they only have 11 employees. So they themselves will not do the maintenance. And so we were gonna have someone from there come today. I guess she wasn't able to make it, talk about it. But long story short, yeah, it's not the community council, and as far as I can tell, never has been.
This is the same group that been getting $25 million from the railroad for 40 or 100 years. Now they want to sell the railroad for $1.6 billion. And they can't even keep up something they create.
So the challenge here is it's a different budget. What you're referring to is the capital budget, which builds like this building and that parking lot. But the bigger challenge in the short term for the city is paying workers. And that mostly comes from the earnings tax revenue, which has not been keeping up with the required pay that they have to give all their employees. So like that is a separate, those are separate budgets, and state law is very strict on how the city can or cannot use those monies. So they cannot use capital budget money to pay an employee to maintain the spot. And so over the last 20 years, the staff at the city outside of the police and fire department has shrunk by 45%, because whenever they have a budget shortfall, what their first strategy is to close empty positions and not hire new people. So they're
Entity giving $3 million to the SAC. And they're giving money to another rich person. And then, so, no, but that's stupid. We going backwards. You funding all the rich people. You're funding nothing for the neighborhood. That thing said, invest in neighborhood. That'd be said, invest in business. Because it ain't the neighborhood, and the houses.
you feel that way, then vote no. Fine.
Let me try and just shed some clarity on both the Erie median, the parks, the foraging garden. These are all been taken care of by various people. The Erie median has been sort of a volunteer effort by various entities. I personally take care of the Erie median ends. So the bulbs you see in spring, the perennials you see planted now, and the holiday display that you'll see in December are done by me personally. Foraging gardens taken care of by another, Kathleen McGuire will come into the Erie median and take care of that. Well, I think what happened, and maybe what Carrie's missing, in 2018, there was a signed document by the previous beautification chair, was not followed through, signed by DOT, but nonetheless, it was taken care of on a volunteer basis. So keeping a revocable permit is important because it keeps it within the community. As it stands now, it's being taken care of, but we do have a damaged median that needs to be repaired from a car accident. The foraging garden, again, as Carrie explained, it was revocably contained by the Civic Garden Center, but it was maintained on a volunteer basis by another community member who has left. And what happens is when community members leave who have taken care of these spaces, they do go fallow. And so we do have to watch out for that. Keeping the revocable permit is important because it keeps it in control of our community, and at least we know what we can do with it. And I think that's really, and we are, as it stands now, we're supposed to take care of all shrubs. We're supposed to mulch it. It hasn't been mulched from the time it was built. I do mulch the ends when I do my plantings, but that's as far as it goes on that part.
Okay, can I make a motion to allow you to enter into negotiations with the city to pursue this revocable street privilege for the Erie medians?
So motion by Sarah Sheets, seconded by Wes Cunningham. All right, real quick, by show of hands, how many yeses do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Thank you. By show of hands, how many noes do I have? I have one, I see one. And by show of hands, how many abstentions do I have? I see none. Okay, thank you. Oh, do you have business? Okay, we'll go, okay, so quorum is 4 board members and 15 active members. So board members, raise your hand. Board members, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 6 board members, okay. By show of hands, how many active members do we have? Okay. That's not you. Are you an active member? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, technically we do not have a quorum, but we did, okay, I'll have an update at the next meeting. Double check with Robert's rules, since we did technically vote on it before checking for quorum, I'll double check. No. All right, so we're in the business portion of, okay.
So obviously we have a forum to vote on it, but the body can adjust the agenda at the next meeting so as to put this business at the very beginning of the meeting. And according to Robert's rules, you just propose that. If the body says yes, you can vote at the beginning of the meeting or whenever the chair sees we have a forum, as opposed to waiting to.
Yeah, the order of the agendas and the standing rules. But yes, the body has the ability to vote to change the agenda during the meeting. Mike.
Gary, this is the second time we came into this situation. Can we vote earlier in the meeting? Maybe change the agenda and vote earlier. This is the second or third time we've had this problem. I mean, we've had enough earlier. I know we did, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was what Anna was referring to, is that the body has the ability to vote to change the agenda. I do believe that in the past, the reason why the business is at the end is so that like a developer or whomever who comes to the meeting has to get the updates about the neighborhood. They can't just show up for a vote and just immediately leave. So if we want to permanently change that, we would have to vote to amend the standing rules.
I brought up again about changing the bylaws. I think it would be a good time before the first of the year that we dive into our bylaws and change a few of them before the first of the year. So I don't know, how do we go back? This is September, so we're only talking 3 months. So we need to maybe have that discussion, so, by changing the bylaws.
Yep, we have, I don't anticipate, currently we don't have anything on the table that I'm aware of for the December general body meeting, so we could turn that into like that conversation if we want. I mean, technically bylaws is supposed to be a standing committee that would focus on reviewing the bylaws and hosting that, but haven't had any volunteers to take it. Well, I've had some volunteers mention it, but have not move forward with trying to do it. So that's kind of like recurring kind of role that is supposed to be present that we don't have from lack of participation. So does anybody have any announcements for the body in general? I saw Ann's hand first.
There are a lot of our neighbors that need help staying in their homes. Mr. Poole has spoken about it eloquently before me. In November, there is people working cooperatively prepare a fair. It is all of November, but in particular on November 18th, and that's a time when your companies and bring lots of people into Madisonville, and all we need is sweat labor. People working cooperatively donates all of the goods, things such as cleaning out gutters, raking leaves and bagging leaves to the street, even ramps for handicap, weatherproofing windows, that kind of stuff. So if you want to know some wonderful home repair things, you can learn it through the guys at PWC, or at least just come help for a long morning with it's only Madisonville people, and we'd love to have it filled with Madisonville volunteers. So gather up your folks and look at it on look for it on social media, November 18th or any Saturday in November.
Schroeder High School is looking for volunteers who are willing to tutor seventh graders in basic math skills. No experience needed. We train you on curriculum, and we provide all the support that you would need. So we just need willing people that are wanting to help seventh graders learn their basic math skills. So if you have any questions about that, I'm glad to answer any questions that you might have. We also have flyers in the back as well.
I'd just like to quickly speak on Little Duck Creek Trail. It's just a skeleton crew. I wish we would have these announcements at the beginning. I just want to give sort of an update on what's happened in the past year. This has sort of just been a lot of volunteers. On April 1st, we had 60 volunteers show up in a bus from UC. They descended on the Bramble Recreation Area, mulched all those trails, those new trails in the back. And they also, wood chip, I should say, they also mulched Row Park, everybody's familiar with that, and Trolley Park. And in that whole 3 hours, that work was accomplished. There was a nature walk with Ed Berger, who gave a horticultural speak on the trail, which is really great. Then in May, we had an invasive plant removal, and this was great. This was with Schroeder High School. We had 20 students. Drew Goebel from the Parks Department and 3 techs led the students how to correctly remove invasives from the trails. It was the perfect time of the year to do that. Garbage was also removed from the Bramble Park Recreation Area. Then in June, we had a community service from the Seven Hills students. 12 students showed up. They continued to wood chip the Bramble Recreation Trails. And then in October, we had Schroeder, and here's what's happening. Sorry, in October coming, we're going to have, which is really something that I've been working for in possibly the 12 years I've been involved in this community, is we're going to have a Schroeder and Seven Hills combined volunteer effort. And I think this is really important, and it's more positive than sort of the back and forth that we have in these meetings all the time about taxes and whatever, is that we got the students of this community involved in doing something positive, taking care of the trail, which I hope all of you have visited because it's a wonderful resource. And then one thing just came into my email this afternoon is on October 28th, we are going to have, again, UC students, probably 50 to 100. And I've talked with Brian here. We're going to descend on the recreation center. We're going to clean it up. We're going to prune it. We're going to get rid of the weeds. We're going to mulch it. And that probably too will happen in under 3 hours. You get a lot done when you get a lot of people involved. So that's just my take on it. One thing I do want to say is I personally do, as I mentioned earlier, I do take care of the Erie medians on my own time, on my own dollar. You know, I get things donated from Spring Grove. All the animals that you see come from Spring Grove through my connection with the Spring Grove horticulture is there. We work with UDF in the spring. All those pink flowers you see, the pink petunias that spot the neighborhood, that's from a UDF program that works with Keep Cincinnati Beautiful, and then they get Bankins to grow them, and they're all free for the taking from any community. And then finally, all mulch is donated by the Parks Department, and all tools, sorry, Cap's not here, but all tools come through the tool bank. So it really is a great effort. So look forward to more and come out to the trail and come out on, I guess, oh, she's gone. I think it's October 7th. We'll be celebrating the Savile Street Bridge with a breakfast and continuing mulching the trails. Thank you.
All right, it is 9 o'clock and the rec center is now closed and we must leave. Can I get a motion by Josh Ulrich and seconded by Wes Median? Thank you. Please leave so the rec center staff can leave. Who has to take the bus home?